Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys for being with me once again. So we're looking at the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is basically a fascinating subject for so many of us. And yet so many people are totally unaware of it and even its form or function. And if we look over here at endocrineweb.com, overview of the pineal gland. For such a tiny structure, the pineal gland has a colorful and misunderstood history. It's considered somewhat of a mysterious organ, as its function was discovered last of all the endocrine glands. And so I have to ask you, do you think that was something that had purpose to that as well? Perhaps it's something that was meant to be hidden or was attempted to be hidden for so many years in the West. The pineal gland, once dubbed the third eye, actually still dubbed the third eye, and actually more and more people are believing it is the third eye. And as we're going to see, when you look down here, most researchers are still learning about the full purpose of the pineal gland. They believe it most likely concerns melatonin, and that's, of course, what helps us sleep at night. And so this was one of the last endocrine organs where they actually learned the function. They still don't understand all of the functioning. It's located deep in the center of the brain, and it produces melatonin, and it helps the circadian rhythm and regulate reproductive hormones. And yet, probably of all the glands, when you look at history and we look on down the line, it's the most famous, and yet we still don't have science acknowledging its full potential. My view is that this gland, the pineal gland, is the principal seat of the soul, so says Descartes. And very, very true. And what I loved about this is you see this. So this is what a chakra looks like, the whirling vortex, right? It's like a tornado. And here you have the crown chakra pulling in energy from the heavens, from the finer realms. And you have the third eye pulling in energy. And right in the middle where they conjoin is the pineal gland. And I will share with you guys that when I'm doing energy work or in deep meditation, it feels as if this whole area from here to here is one huge swirling vortex, a tremendous vortex. And it feels to me, while in that state, that I'm almost liquid. My whole head, from basically the crown to the third eye area, it feels fluid. And there's just tremendous energy that comes pouring in through both above and through the third eye chakra. And as the pineal gland awakens, it can be a very, very uncomfortable process. And honestly, right now, lately, I've been going through more of an awakening. And at times, it can be a very, there's like a lot of pressure that develops in here. And I've actually, when I was working on people going back probably about 4 years ago, it kind of felt like something popped. And in the middle of my head, it felt like something popped and there was tremendous pressure. But then after that, when working on people, the energy that flowed through me was so much stronger. And so we see, a great philosopher here talking and saying that he thinks this is the seat of the soul. Well, if we're talking QiGong, and again, QiGong is energy work in Chinese, which comes out of a Taoist tradition mostly. It is. That's exactly what it is. This is our upper dantian. We have 3 dantians. The lower dantian is about 2 inches below the navel. And then the middle dantian is between the solar plexus and the heart area. And then you have the upper dantian, which is exactly here. And so energy is stored in the lower dantian as zheng, in a more physical, thicker substance in a way. You could think of it again as like ice, water, and steam. And this is where the steam is, which is the most ethereal of the energies. It's the finest substance. The middle dantian is all about emotional energy, and so that's where our emotional energy is stored. And of course, that's between the solar plexus and the heart. And as we refine our energies and pull more energies in, the energy travels upwards. And the energy that we could convert from a physical nature into an emotional nature of a refined sort and then eventually up into a spiritual nature where it's stored here. In Taoist philosophy, when we die and leave this physical vessel, that energy comes with us. So whatever we can accrue, whatever we can build and store in our upper dantian will help us in other lives as well. When you get to a certain point, you might not even fully have the veil there. And you might be able to bring with you memories of past lives and see these things clearly, even knowing who you were in past lives. So the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, the whole body will be full of light. And what do you think they're talking about? They're not talking about having a single-minded focus on any one thing. It's all about this. It's, again, we're talking about activating the pineal gland. That's exactly what it is. And we see it everywhere we look. So we see the pyramid shape. Obviously, there's pyramids all over the world. You see the Eye of Horus. We'll take a look at that in depth later. But again, it's signifying the pineal gland. Look at this 1525 painting. We talked about all the hidden esoterica in so many of the ancient works. You see the all-seeing eye in a pyramid. Look at that. It's right there. So much of it is just right there. Tetragrammaton, St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican, 4th century. It's there. Third eye open, God realization in Hinduism. It's right there. And of course, the all-seeing eye again, the capstone. So a lot of people that are conspiracy theorists will look at this, think that the all-seeing eye is, say, the Illuminati, and think that it's Satan worship and things like that. But really what they're talking about is developing the pineal gland. And they're also kind of putting it in our face that those with the developed pineal gland control and have controlled our reality. But we are waking up, and that's part of what this time is all about. Again, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Matthew 6:22. There's so much esoterica hidden in the deeper layers of the Bible. It's not all meant to be taken literally, although there are forces that would love people to take things literally and not look deeper into the esoterica. And then when we look again over here, the Eye of Horus, it is the pineal gland. It's just so clear and so obvious as we look at an actual pineal gland. It's right there. This is what they're talking about. This is what they're pointing to. And so this is your third eye, and this is your third eye on fluoride, and that's why fluoride's in the water. Because it calcifies, becomes a hard shell, and it inhibits the function of the third eye. So we cannot communicate clearly with each other and also with the higher realms. If we were free to communicate to each other in this way, then you would have the condition of man before the Tower of Babel, when we could all understand each other. And now we have this condition going on. There's a reason why the Nazis put fluoride in water. There's a reason why we have fluoride in water now. It calcifies the pineal gland. It also makes you docile. And so when you open up your pineal gland, sometimes it can be uncomfortable. It was a very uncomfortable experience for me. And I go through times when there's intense pressure as well, as it just feels like it's continually expanding. But what happens too is, like, I've noticed the chakras above my crown chakra and the fact that they are opening as well, new ones coming online. So have you heard of a bindi? What is a bindi? Well, it's worn between the eyebrows. It marks the ajna chakra, the third eye. It's the gateway for the mind to enter spirituality, and it also marks the location of the pineal gland. In psychology, the pineal gland is considered the bridge between the mind and the body, and also between the higher realms. All the Hindu gods and goddesses are always depicted with the bindi, and this is signifying that they're aware, they know. They have to open up their third eye. And these beings have their third eye open. So they are able to communicate with their higher realms, their higher self, with spirit, with source. And thus they have a higher state of consciousness that they're able to attain. We see this also in Buddhism and in so many other of the Eastern philosophies. So the real Illuminati, and again, it's all about the pineal gland, and it's all reflected in the actual physical structure itself. It's all right there for us to see. It's so very, very obvious. And of course, we've talked in the past about all the representations of it. It's represented by the pine cone. You find the pine cone everywhere. Pope has it on his staff. A large pine cone statue in the world is in the Vatican City. The Assyrian deities, Sumerian deities, pine cones in their hands. This is where their power is transmitted from. It's transmitted from the third eye. Staff of Dionysus with a pine cone. Staff of Osiris with a pine cone. 2 snakes symbolizing the Kundalini energy as well. For this is all connected. And when the Kundalini energy rises up the spine and ignites in the third eye, then we have abilities that normally people nowadays don't have. But in the past, in the golden age, we all had this. And again, you can see it relating to the cross. You can see it relating to everything, because it's all about consciousness. That's what it's about. It's all about consciousness. Osiris, is, many think that this is the original Christ legend. And, Osiris basically died and resurrected. And again, you could see the symbolism all throughout. See the serpent there, again, pointing to the Kundalini energy. It's all so obvious and right there for us to see. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, or Pineal, for I have seen God face to face and my life is preserved. Well, how did he see God? It's, again, the only way you can is through the pineal gland, activating it. It's all part of the Kundalini process, part of the ascension process right now that so many are going through. And we think about the Garden of Eden, right? And eating of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. So were their pineal glands active? And then the tree of life, we can't have them eating from the tree of life, or they'll be just like us, just like the gods. So their symbolism is everywhere. It's in every culture. When you see these halos, this symbolizes somebody that has a active pineal gland that can communicate to the higher dimensions, the higher realms. What really is the holy chalice? What really is, the grail? Is it knowledge itself about how to activate the pineal gland, activate the Kundalini? And some have used natural substances like different types of mushrooms or ayahuasca and other things to do that. Although we don't need any of that, we could do it through meditation. And again, we see this is all over. This symbolism is everywhere. The intertwined snakes. It's again symbolizing the Ida and the Pingala, the male and female energy currents that run through the body, up the spine. The Sushumna goes straight up the middle, illuminate the pineal gland. When the pineal gland is illuminated, you're like an angel. You could travel between the realms. So we could see how that all goes together. So clear, so obvious. What can you do to activate your pineal gland? Well, stop drinking fluorinated water. Recognize that any sodas and cans, they have fluoride in them as well. You must stop the fluoride. Stop using fluoride toothpaste as well. Eat less meat and processed foods. That's definitely helpful. You should be healthy. Exercise. Stop watching television. Yeah, stop the programming. If you're going to watch some things, obviously watch good, constructive things on YouTube and other venues. Meditate. That is so key. Use your intuition. Build your intuition. Play games with maybe your spouse if she wants to or he wants to. Try to see if you could send and receive. Like get a deck of cards and just focus on, whether it's an ace, for instance, a king, or if you want to keep it even more easy, just focus on the suit, clubs, spades, hearts, etc. And see how often you could pick up on things. Actually exercise it, work it. See what impressions come through when you still your mind. So there's many things we can do. And when we look on things on the surface, they might appear one way, but when we really look into the symbolism, you can really see that things are there for a purpose, and they're there to give people that are true seekers little clues, little keys to the mysteries that go through. So when we look at Shiva, which is one of the three main gods of Hinduism, he's thought of as the destroyer. But he's really the destroyer of the illusion, and the illusion is the separateness of all things. You see, the trident represents the three powers of knowledge, desire, implementation. And so the drum symbolizes sound, which represents words of the Vedas. Now also sound is so important because with sound, we can open the pineal gland as well. Serpents on the neck signify the ego, which once mastered can be worn as an ornament. They also symbolize the kundalini and the fact that his kundalini is risen. And he is the master of that. And then the beads can symbolize purity. There's so many different things. Of course, he has a bindi as well. His third eye is awakened. And so, again, he is the destroyer of evil and ignorance. And also that energy which will usher in the new age. But again, it's all symbolic. It's all symbolism. Mantras, I have found to be one of the most amazing things for opening up the third eye. And so I wanted to share with you 3 mantras that really work well. And everybody is different, so you can find something that will resonate with you. The power is in the vibration. So when we say these things, we hold the sound and we vibrate the sound. Vibrate it until your teeth chatter almost. And the more you can vibrate and hold on to the sound, that's going to be more powerful. So Om Mani Padme Hum is a Buddhist mantra, and it's known as the mantra of compassion. It's considered the essence of all Buddha's compassion for all sentient beings. When recited, they help bring about a transformation of ourselves as well as all the innumerable beings who suffer in the 6 realms of samsara. The 6 syllables, when spoken with faith and the intention to free others, has a tremendous power. And so when we go into phrases like this, and anything that we state, anything that we verbalize is that has a power. When other people have said this many, many times, the power increases. So it's just like there is a wall socket of energy there that you could take your cord and plug into, because millions of people have said this billions of times. So you could immediately tap into the energy current that exists out there in the multiverse that all these other people have already started. And so even if you don't say it perfectly fine, it's about intention and really feeling the vibrations. Everything is energy, everything is vibrations, everything is different vibratory rates. So as you see here, these syllables help to root out 6 negative poisons that sentient beings suffer from. These negative emotions, which are the manifestation of ignorance, are caused by our actions of body, speech, and mind. They are things like pride, jealousy, desire, ignorance, greed, and anger. And therefore, to chant or recite Om Mani Padme Hum, what we are doing in essence is purifying ourselves as well as others. And so this is a beautiful one. And another one, this one's from the Kundalini Yoga tradition, is Rama Dasa Sase So Hung. And so basically you're saying sun, moon, earth, infinity, totality of infinity, I am thou. So you are bringing yourself into vibration with the creator of all, with the universe, the multiverse itself. And again, you vibrate these as you do it. So you wouldn't necessarily just say Ra. It'd be more like Ra, and you hang on to it and feel the vibration coming through you. You could watch Buddhist monks chanting and get a good idea of how to do it, because the vibrations will break down energy blockages that you have going on in your body and also in your energy bodies. And you break down those blockages, energy can flow easier, and it's amazing the change in you. And then another one that's really beautiful is Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And that is a blessing that says, may all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my thoughts, words, and actions contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. So that's a favorite. That's a beautiful one. And you can't help but feel your heart chakra opening up when you're performing it. So it's an amazing blessing. And when we do these things, we're joining others that have been doing these things for, in some cases, thousands of years. And again, we're tapping into that positive energy channel. And it will break up blockages in you. And it will open up your own third eye. You just have to take the time and have some patience with it. The beauty of these times is that everything works so much faster now, since we are quickening in vibration and all of our vibratory rates are rising. So the quicker we can let go of negative thought patterns, of things that are causing division and strife, we'll find peace in our hearts, and we'll vibrate at a quicker rate ourselves and become closer to Source ourselves. And in the process, awaken the pineal gland and activate the Kundalini energy. So, my friends, as always, I look forward to your comments. Thank you so much for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. Come and join us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You could join and get some videos that won't be up on this venue. And it also helps the channel keep functioning in these times. As always, my friends, God bless, namaste, and loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu.